Everybody, it's Rebecca. I wanted to do a video about my C-section, just to give other people information on my experience, and also just to document it for my own sake, excuse me, so that I don't forget what happened. I used to say that my burping during videos was because I was pregnant, but I guess I can't say that anymore. It's because I eat too fast. Alright, so Cory Jack is sleeping. He's been sleeping for an hour and 15 minutes, which is very unusual for him. So let me try and get this done. I had a scheduled C-section. Everybody knows, or most people know, Cory Jack was breech. So we arrived, see already I'm forgetting, at 6 in the morning, and they took us in this room, had me strip down and give a urine sample, get in the bed, and they hooked up the monitors for the heartbeat and for the contractions. I was having some contractions, and true to form, Cory Jack kept moving and not letting them get good heartbeat sounds. Then they shaved my area and started my IV, which I hate, but luckily the lady was very good. It didn't hurt too bad. And it didn't take very long. I was scheduled to go back at 8, and just like 5 minutes to, we started to go back there. And I was actually able to walk down. I wasn't sure how that was going to work. I had to take off all my jewelry, of course, and AJ had to wait until I got my epidural, and it was freezing in this operating room. I'm already freaking out because I'm about to get a needle stuck in my back. Oh, and the anesthesiologist came and talked to me in the room before I went back, so I'd already told him I was really freaking out, and he said, "Oh, don't, it's just a needle. It's not even a needle." I said, "Yeah, but I said, well, you're going to be poking in my back." And he said, "Oh, it's just a little thing." I said, "Yeah, but not the needle that you actually put in my back." And he said, "No, it's just the catheter," and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, "Yeah, whatever, dude. You're not the one getting the epidural." But anyways, went back in the operating room and literally shaking. I mean, my whole body, my teeth were chattering, and I'm sitting there and trying to talk to the surge tech and the nurse, the labor and delivery nurse, to ease my own fears about the epidural, and I could barely carry on a conversation because my whole body was literally shaking. So I asked, "Why do you guys keep it so cold in here?" And I don't remember the real reason, or the first reason she gave me. And I said, "Is it because you guys wear so much gear, protective gear and stuff?" She said it has a lot to do with it, because she was just covered. I mean, she had on her own scrubs, and then she had the stuff over, and then she had the gloves and the masks and the visor and all that stuff. She said, so like right now I'm sitting over here and I'm a little warm. Oh my God. So the more I was shaking, the more nervous I got because I was shaking, and I kept trying to calm myself down, so I kept trying to breathe. And I don't think I was really nervous about the surgery per se. I was just nervous that I was getting ready to get this epidural. So I'm sitting on the side of the bed, and we're making small talk, and I tell the nurse and the surge tech, make sure that you guys talk to me while I'm getting my epidural to take my mind off of it. And I explained to him how scared I was, and we talked about, what sex the baby was going to be and what his name was going to be, and I explained why his name was, stuff like that. So feeling a little better, but I'm still really shaking from being cold. So the anesthesiologist comes in, and he's getting ready, and he's joining the conversation, and we were talking about our spouses, and he was telling pleasant stories about his wife, and he was saying how lucky he was to have her, and they had been married like 20-something years or whatever. So that was nice to hear. And then he said, "Okay, go ahead and slouch over, not slouch over, but roll your back out." And then I'm like, oh my God. So I'm trying to relax, and he said, oh, well, you can relax, I gotta do something else. I'm like, ah! So, when he finally did it, he told me you're gonna, you'll probably feel some tingling, and warmth going down one or both of your legs. It's normal, blah, blah, blah. And he said, okay, here comes the pinch, which it don't feel like a pinch. I don't know why they say that. It feels like a freaking needle. So, I'm like, okay, yeah, that is, I didn't say hurting. I said, okay, that's like uncomfortable. Yeah, it's really uncomfortable. So I tried to stay away from the hurt word. So then I told the nurses, you guys aren't talking to me. So then they said, well, tell me how you and your husband met. So I started telling them how AJ and I had met over the phone, and that I highly recommend it to people because you get to know the person, and just kind of had, some weird feelings. And then I felt the, like, not a pain, but like an electric shock go down my right leg. My left leg. I'm like, okay, I feel that. So, and then instantly my legs started getting really warm, and I started to lose feeling, and not really feeling in them, but they started to get like really heavy. So they helped me lay down, and I, joked about, yeah, you make the pregnant woman try to lay down on this slat after you've numbed her from the waist down. So they get me laid down, and like right after they get me laid down, and my stuff's all shown to God and everybody, my doctor comes in, with the doctor that was assisting him that day. And I started to get more numb, and the feeling of the epidural, I cannot explain. It was so weird. It was like, it was freaking me out because of the way it felt. It was like I could feel my lower body, but I couldn't move my lower body, which I knew, hey, you have an epidural, that's the way it's supposed to be. But it was still freaking me out. And I just like, I kept on saying, okay, this feels really weird. Okay, this is freaking me out. And I'm like, oh, I'm trying to get somebody to talk to me, and because AJ's still waiting outside. I'm like, this just feels really weird. And I don't know. So a little while later, they finally let AJ come in, and it was literally like bing, bang, boom. If they told me, okay, Rebecca, we're starting, I think they might have said that. I don't really remember it. And I wasn't out of it. It was just that I was preoccupied with the way I was feeling, and I was trying to calm myself down because I thought I was going to have an anxiety attack or something. But they were working on me, and before he came out, I was like, okay, or maybe, no, it was after he came out. So he came out, and I hear, here he comes from somebody, and I'm like straining to hear him cry, and I hear just this little cry, and I was just like, oh my God, oh my God, I have a baby. And I could hear myself. I'm like, Rebecca, you're being loud. And I was like, I didn't even care. I was like, oh my God. And I don't really remember if AJ and I said something to each other at that point. I don't know, but he got up and he went over to the layette where they work on the baby, and I hear somebody say, time of delivery 8:35. I'm like, I'm a mother. Oh my God. So then I was like, I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be sick. And the anesthesiologist wasn't talking to me, so I couldn't really like turn around to see if he was there, so I didn't know if he heard me. So I just kept getting louder because nobody was acknowledging. Somebody get me something to puke in, Nobody was acknowledging me, so I just kept on saying it, and then finally he like put a hand on my shoulder and said, okay, we gave you something for the nausea. I'm like, okay. And I just thought for sure I was going to get sick, but I didn't.